Here in C++, one of the things to take note of is that C++ does not allow you to pass a copy of an array as a parameter to a function. What it does instead is pass along the reference pointer for that array. So here in our example, what we're doing is we are creating two functions, right? So we can see that here on 7 and 9 with our function prototypes. We're going to double an array. So it's not the variable type is doubling, it's that we are doubling the values that are stored in the array. And here we've got one for show values. So the important thing here to remember, because this is going to trip you up, especially if you don't remember this when we're heading into the homework example, is here there we go. On line 19, make my function call for double array. I am sending set, and that's the name of my set, so my array over there, and I'm also passing it array size, so that way the function knows how many iterations to go through, because what we're passing is not a copy, so it's not passed by value. Simply what's happening is we are passing along just the pointer to the first element in our array. And then what C++ does from there is, okay, I know that set is an array of integers. Integers are this long. It knows how many elements are in that array, so it can do the math to get to every element in that array. But our function void double array doesn't have access to all of those same pieces of awareness. That's why we are passing along both things. We are passing along a pointer to the first element in our array, and that's what we're doing when we say take this array with you. And then int size is letting us know, okay, look, if my logic knows how many iterations to go through based on the size of the array, that means I won't step past the array, and I won't have that out of bounds error where C++ does not do boundary checking, so it'll keep going there. So those are two things to recall as we're going through, and I can see that the output's already there in that window. Those are two things to recall here, that I am really not passing a copy. I am passing not the array either. I am simply passing a pointer, a map to where the first element of that array exists. So you need to have a second parameter there if you want to do this correctly when you are working with arrays as parameters. If you send along the size of the array, what you can do is use that size inside of a loop. Here we're using it in a for loop. And what that's going to do is it'll prevent you from running away from the boundary of your array type. So if I say, hey, look, here's a pointer, a place to start to look for my arrays. And if you know that there are 7 integer values in that array, it will go, okay, so an integer is worth 4 bytes, so from 4 bytes from there is the start of my next integer, 4 bytes from there is the start of the next integer, 4 bytes from there is the start of the next integer. And that's actually what's happening when we traverse an array by passing it as a parameter to another function. So we're going to give you 2 examples of that in with the refresher homework, just so that you can really see what's happening there with that. It is different to pass an array than it is with any of our primitive data types. It is different to pass an array even than it is to pass a string, which is a string object, because that's baked into the string object library. So this is something to be aware of, because you can step in this really hard and it screws you up in a deeply unsatisfying way.